Okay, she would rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain. She would rather have stayed in, but she didn't. She went out, but it was pouring rain. She would rather have stayed in, but she couldn't. Why would she have rather stayed in? Because it was pouring rain. It was pouring rain. Lloviendo a cántaros. To pour is verter un líquido, echar un líquido a un vaso o a un recipiente. Es to pour. Se pronuncia como pobre, pour. To pour rain is que está cayendo chuzos de punta. All right, it's pouring rain. It's pouring down rain. It's raining, it's pouring. The little man is snoring. It's pouring down rain now, nuestra amiga. She would rather have stayed in. She'd rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain. It was pouring down rain. But she had to go out. She got wet. But she didn't want to go out. But she would rather have stayed in. She would rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain. But she couldn't. She had to go out. Hi, here we are again. Listen carefully. She'd rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain. She'd rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain. Despacio. She would rather, contracción, she'd rather have. Have aquí es verbo auxiliar de haber. Okay? She'd rather have stayed in, quedar en casa. To stay in is no salir. Se preferiría no haber salido. She'd rather have stayed in. Se preferiría haberse quedado en casa. She'd rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain. Lloviendo a cántaros, chuzos de punta, amigo. Pouring. Pour is verter o echar agua, echar líquido a un recipiente. To pour. Suena a pobre, ¿no? Pero es pour escrito. Pour. And pouring rain or pouring down rain es que está lloviendo. Diluvio universal, vamos. She'd rather have stayed in. Stayed es participio. Permanecido dentro, literalmente. En casa, en este caso. She'd rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, listen to what Marta says about her date with Pablo last night. The date was terrible. I'd rather have gone on a date with you. Handsome. She'd rather have gone on a date with me. Of course she'd rather have gone on a date with me. Who wouldn't? And she called me handsome. You hear that, Pablo? She'd rather have gone on a date with me. Did you hear that as well? She'd rather have gone on a date with me. So, I want you to repeat it. Come on. Exactly. She'd rather have gone on a date with you. Who wouldn't have rather gone on a date with me? Pablo? Pablo's no comparison to me. I wonder why she went on a date with him anyway. I mean, he's got a big house, a big car, a good job, he's tall, he's handsome. But, well, he's not me. And she'd rather have gone on a date with me. Look, she said it. I'd rather have gone on a date with you. Handsome. She'd rather have gone on a date with me.
She'd rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain, but she didn't stay in. She went out. And she suffered the elements, la intemperie encima. She suffered the elements because she went out. She'd rather have stayed in, but she didn't. Hubiera preferido quedarse en casa. She'd rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain, pouring rain. To stay in, to go out, to stay in. Esta noche me quedo en casa. Tonight I'm going to stay in. I'm not going to go out. I prefer to stay in. If the weather's bad, I prefer to stay in. Que significa stay at home. Yes, to enjoy my home and read a book, but not to go out. She'd rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain. Palabra del día, playwright. Play como jugar, pero en este caso como obra de teatro. Play, write. Write como derecho, pero con V de doble delante. Playwright is dramaturgo. Dramaturgo, playwright, playwright. Shakespeare was an English playwright. Molière was a French playwright. Jacinto Benavente was a Spanish playwright. Bueno Vallejo was a Spanish playwright. Alfonso Paso was a Spanish playwright. Antonio Gala is a Spanish playwright. Tirso Molino was a playwright. Playwright.
Oh, I don't feel well. Oh, I went out. Yeah, to go out is salir. I went out last weekend, and you know what? It was a bad idea. I should have stayed in. Yeah, el inverso is to stay in. You can go out, or you can stay in. Do you usually go out on a Saturday night, or do you usually stay in? Well, I went out last weekend, but I should have stayed in. I should have stayed in. Oh, man, I regret it. Me arrepiento. I should have stayed in. I should have. Yeah, debería haber. I should have. Pero cuando lo contraemos es como of. Should have. I should have stayed in. Y siempre con el participio. I should have, porque es should have. I should have stayed in. Why didn't I stay in? I don't know what I was thinking. I went out really late. I saw a horrible movie. I went to dinner, and it was disgusting. It was the worst restaurant I've ever been to in my life. The food was gross. And then I got sick. I got food poisoning. Yeah, I shouldn't have gone out. I should have stayed in.
She'd rather have stayed in because it was pouring rain. Yeah, yo también. Yo de haber sido ella, yo que ella me habría quedado en casa también porque estaba diluviando fuera. She'd rather have stayed in. She'd rather have stayed in. She'd rather have stayed in. Why? Because it was pouring rain. Yes, to pour. Pour is verter o echar líquido. To pour. Here, would you like a Coke? Here, would you like a glass of water? I'm pouring Coke. I'm pouring water into the glass to pour. But to pour also means chuzos de punta. It's pouring rain. It's raining. It's pouring. The little man is snoring. It's raining. It's pouring. Está lloviendo. Está diluviando y el hombrecito está roncando. It's raining. It's pouring. The little man is snoring. And in this case, it's pouring rain. And our good friend Jennifer, she'd rather have stayed in because it's pouring rain outside.
Ole! It's another great day here in Spain. Look at this. It's beautiful. I was just talking to my cousin. In London, it's pouring rain. Pouring rain in London. Pouring! That's right. It's pouring rain. We would be completely empapado, we could say. We would be completely soaking wet because it's pouring rain in London. But here in Spain, the weather is fantastic, as always. Yeah, well, she was going to watch cricket, but she said it was pouring rain, so she didn't go. I would much rather be here in Spain, going to watch bullfights in Seville, for example. When the sun is shining, it's bright, it's beautiful. Beautiful Spanish weather, as always. But in England, in London, it's always pouring rain. I'd rather be here. Wouldn't you? This is great. Oh, what's that? I think I felt a raindrop. Just a little bit. That's okay. At least it's Spanish rain.